In both video and print products, we have used various techniques to challenge existing forms and conventions. However, we have also reinforced existing forms and conventions in order to engage the audience and create products similar to existing products in the industry. The mise-en-scène we chose to use was the forest. This created a feel of abandonment and loneliness. We decided to use two dresses. The first dress was a white dress, which showed the more innocent, angelic side to the character. This relates to the lyric, "Misguided ghosts travelling endlessly," and this is a spiritual link to religion. The second dress we used was a black dress. This is shown in one of the scenes where the character is burning the picture and throws the paper into the water. This shows a different side to the character, different emotions the character is going through, which is a side that she wants to let go. The makeup we used was natural as this suited our genre. Bright makeup would have been used for a fun, upbeat video. Dark makeup would have been used for a more emotional, darker video, which we could have used, but it wasn't the look we were going for, as we were trying to make it more natural.
Our decision to keep the mise-en-scène simple enabled us to reinforce realism in the video and the musical genre. Throughout the video, the camera shots are varied. This is in order to portray the different emotions of the characters and highlight. All the shots were tripod shots rather than handheld to create a professional feel to the video, and the first-person handheld shots wouldn't have suited the narrative, as it would appear that someone was following them. In this shot, we have used a close-up of the fight to show emotions of each character. We also use mid-long shots to show the character and background. When the character puts a necklace on the tree to establish surroundings, which will be featured again in the video, it also shows her walking away. We have an extreme close-up of the necklace which shows it being put on the tree. This image was also used for our advert image for our print products. An extreme close-up was used of the boy's mouth so that the audience only focus on what the character said. We used a mid-shot of the picture burning in focus, which also shows the girl's feet as she walks off in the background. This shows she doesn't watch it burn and the audience assume that she's done with him. We used no lip sync because it suited the genre. We were influenced by the case study of Ed Sheeran, who also used motifs and also doesn't use a lip sync. For editing, the transitions used were fades and cuts as they worked well with the song, and all the other editing transitions were for more upbeat videos. The case study I looked at for this was the Taylor Swift case study to also achieve this look in our video, and it made it look more professional. The fades represent the scene when it is ending. For example, when the image burns, the scene fades to black, and also when the boy sits on the stairs and looks up, there is a fade before the next scene starts, which makes it seem as if he was thinking back in the past. Tardarov's theory. The establishing problem that needed to be explored in our video was why the girl was angry and what happened between her and the other character. The development were the flashbacks which show them fighting, her ignoring his calls, and the girl leaving the jacket. The action climax is when she burns the picture and the candle goes out. There wasn't a resolution as we wanted to keep the ending open to encourage the viewer to develop their own idea to how it ended and keeping the audience interested, which was also an enigma code. We used the element of baths using different codes, such as when the girl is walking down the stairs, she throws the jacket quite violently. This creates the feel that she's angry, and when she runs, the audience knows something's happened, which is an action code. An enigma code is when she ignores the phone call. The audience want to know what happened and why she ignored the call, and also how the two characters feeling about each other. The scene where the candle blows out shows this is the end of the relationship and that it is dead, and so is a flame, which is also another action code. The most obvious action code we used in our video was the rose, which represents love. Levi-Strauss was a theorist we could base our themes on, the main theme being love and hate, which we portrayed throughout the video with the use of narratives and motifs. We were inspired by Propp's theory of character functions, and so we used motifs in a way to describe the character's feelings and emotions. A media literate audience would be able to comprehend our intended messages. The motifs in the video were used for the print products. For example, we used the rose and the necklace. The front cover image was a close-up shot which was later on made darker than the bright rose it actually was. This effect was used to show sadness, but wasn't a black rose because it might have been confused with death. The back cover image was a close-up of roses on the floor. It showed the ripped rose and the out of focus petals on the floor. This shot was in the video, but in the video was in black and white, and the image we used for print product was in colour. It was quite a bold image, and we decided that it would work well with our house style and theme. We decided to use a black and white effect for the video to enhance the simplicity and focus more on the storyline and to give a nostalgic feel. We initially tried to adjust the saturation, but we felt that black and white worked better. This also reflected our house style as we used black and white for our fonts. We used the blur around the edges to show flashbacks. We were going to make the flashbacks in colour, but we didn't want to mix black and white with colour into our video. Our print product used conventions of real media products. For example, in the case study Paramore, they used a motif for their CD cover. We decided to follow the existing media convention. Although the images used were quite simple and were abstract, we wanted our covers to relate to the video, and we used striking images but darkened the tones. The theme for the film and print products are all similar. For example, the fonts, the colours and the house style are all the same. The themes of the video was love, and we used a picture of roses for the front cover to show this. In the lyrics picture, the rose petals showed that the relationship was over. This was shown in the video where it shows her ripping the rose. Our back cover was the rose on the ground which had been ripped. We used this image because it was a very strong image. The other image we used was a necklace which was of a cross, which showed the spiritual side of the video. The images we used were quite plain but very strong. We wanted to show the meaning rather than anything else, and the images reflect that. Our adverts and CD Digipack promote our video product, as they use elements of our video This was similar to existing conventions, used the same elements as we did. For example, the iTunes logo showed that people could go out and download the song on iTunes. The record label was used so that it made it look more professional, and we wrote the date so that people knew when the single would come out. We used the same fonts for each product for the house style. They all linked together so that the audience knew that they were from the same video. Our house style colours were black and white, which were also the effect used in the video. We also used black and white for the fonts. This created a brand identity. The font we used for the artist name was plain because the picture we used was quite bold, and we also wanted something which was similar to the existing band album, because in the album cover they also used quite a plain font, and we wanted to follow the same style they used. The font used for the artist name wasn't as bold as we wanted. We used white font on top of the image because we thought it would stand out, but the font we had used was thin, so we decided to put a black box behind the white text, and we decided to use this for each of the print products, and this created our house style. We chose this font because of the paper, which was handwritten and thrown into the water.
In the pre-production focus group, we performed a pitch to the class explaining what our aims for the video and print products were and how we planned to achieve them. We also spoke about the locations and actors we were thinking of using and their benefits to the project. We were advised to keep mise-en-scène and camera angles simple throughout the video, as the group suggested that complications such as elaborate costume and makeup or varying camera shots would not help the viewer connect to the song, lyrics or genre well. The main ideas we gained were to keep the clothing colour scheme black, white and grey with natural makeup. We chose to keep this concept as we felt that by using this it would help the viewer believe that the girl could really be in a relationship or breakup situation. A suggestion was made that the girl could wear red lipstick throughout the video to match the colours of the motifs, but we decided that it would be best to only use this when the girl was wearing black, as it could reflect the idea that this is a rebellious side to her. The group also suggested that the girl in white could portray the ghost that is mentioned in the title. The main suggestions for the location of the video were parts of Walthamstow Forest and Hollow Pond. This is mainly because the locations were nearby college, which would allow us to shoot during the week in free periods, but also because both forests were near roads which we could use for the time-lapse scene, and to create a natural feel as to why the girl is in the forest, as the audience could assume that the boy and girl were travelling when their argument occurred. To incorporate a backstory to the narrative of the video, we used props as motifs and enigma codes. These motifs helped emphasise the emotion in the video, and the candles being lit and blown out, glass smashing, and the food colouring added to the water and then reversed, each linked to the relationship between the actors, particularly how it is ending and everything going back to normal. There is also a motif that links to the lyrics "Misguided Ghosts Travelling Endlessly" in the time-lapse of the cars, and "Broken Hearts and Twisted Minds," in which we could have used the cross to connote a spiritual link to religion, while it also represents the girl questioning her beliefs and lifestyle choices. The pre-production focus group also helped in the developmental stages of our narrative, as the initial idea was to end the video with the viewer believing that the boy would meet the girl, but he would only find her possessions. After explaining this idea, we had feedback that suggested that the two meet but simply stare at each other. which we decided would make more sense and leave the viewer to wonder what would happen next. In the post-production focus group, we played the music video and presented our print products to the group. The feedback we received was mainly positive, but there were suggestions that one of the argument scenes was too long, and the scenes we had left in colour did not fit in with the general theme of the video, and suggested death rather than love. To alter this, we cut the argument scene and added more scenes of the boy and girl alone in order to emphasise their emotions and the overall feeling of sadness and depression. We decided that the scenes that made the most impact in colour were that of the glass smashing and the rose petals laying on the floor, and so we kept these in colour and changed the other colour scenes, such as the candles burning, back to black and white. The use of this effect helped show that the glass breaking represented the breakdown of their relationship. Another element of feedback we received was that the close-up of the boy saying sorry was unclear of what was being said. As we did not have the time or resources to refilm this scene, we could not film it again, but took note that it was something we could improve in the future by getting the actor to emphasise the way he was speaking or by including the audio in the video. The feedback we received for our print products were mainly suggestions of how the band name should be displayed. This was due to the fact that the images we had taken did not have much negative space, and so it was hard to read the text. While experimenting with ways to correct this, we added a black banner behind the text, which enabled the band name to be read without drawing too much attention away from the images and their connotations. We tried to display the text on a banner both slanted and horizontal before we settled on placing it horizontally at the top of each image. We also trialled different fonts and images for each of the products and asked members of our class, teachers, friends and work colleagues which font looks best for all print products and which image suited each product before we made our final product. The amount of feedback received helped a lot as it enabled us to alter our personal views and agree on each element as a group. While receiving feedback and editing the video, we also made changes to the storyboard in order to accompany the narrative and how it portrayed the emotions of the characters. One of these changes was the choice to eliminate the split screen of the boy and girl's feet walking, as the actress wore different shoes with the black dress, which was seen when the photo was burning, and it may not have been easy for the viewer to realise this, and may have caused incorrect continuity errors. As a group, the main technical skill we learned was how to use Final Cut Pro, as we had never used the software prior to starting the project. The initial training taught us how to arrange video and audio and how to use transitions, which was very useful throughout the production of the video. Although we did not include lip syncing, we did have to make sure that the transitions matched the video and that the scenes changed with the beat of the music, so we experimented with many transitions before deciding to fade in and out of certain scenes. We also experimented with the colour of the video after watching YouTube tutorials of different colour effects before deciding to use black and white, because it would allow the viewer to focus on the meaning of the video and the emotions portrayed rather than the mise-en-scène. We also used YouTube and websites such as DIYphotography.net for tutorials on how to create a bokeh heart lens to create the effect we used for the final scene of our video. Before uploading the video, we learned how to blur out the actors' phone numbers in order to protect them online. As we are both photography students and participated in photography workshops at AS level, we did not need any training in photography for the print products, but we used what we had learned to create the final images. For example, the shallow depth of field used for the images on the back cover and poster allowed the viewer to focus directly on the motif rather than on the background. As we had previously used Photoshop, we did not need to learn much, but we did broaden and extend our knowledge of the importance of using layers for arrangement and colour correction. In addition to these resources, we used Moodle, a website which allowed us to log in and download files to accompany the project, such as risk assessments, location release and talent release forms. We were also able to join the Leighton Sixth Form Media Facebook group for information such as when deadlines were and suggestions of album covers for case studies, which helped us work from home throughout the project.
We also benefited from the use of Facebook and YouTube for audience feedback, as these would provide feedback from outside the college that would be honest and constructive.
Alongside the video and print products, we also developed some web designing skills while using Wix. This is due to the fact that, although we had a template to start with, we wanted to make the website match the genre and colour scheme of the video, and also make it look like a real-life media product that would be associated with the band. It is for this reason that we kept the background and buttons simple colours, but the texture of the background and the font more edgy to portray the genre. Throughout the project, we learned that as individuals we were stronger in specific elements and so chose to work on different tasks that would emphasise this. For example, my partner worked on the production schedule and direction of the video, while I focused on putting the storyboard together and filmed the video, as she was better at theoretical elements and I was better at the practical work. We also highlighted the things we are both good at by working together on the editing of the video and print product.